What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another SNA episode of the SNA podcast. And happy holidays to all that's watching this video. And for those that are out there that may not be watching the SNA podcast right now, but without further ado, I'm gonna be talking about the holiday bash edition of AEW Dynamite. And about in round four, round five. It's round five. Yeah, it's round five of the Continental Classic tournament. Which we're gonna start off with at the opener, with the first the round five Continental Classic tournament match, which was Swerve Strickland taking on a Roosh, and if Swerve Strickland wins, then this means he's going to face John Moxley or even John Moxley and Jay White at next week's show. But if Roosh wins, this means it could be some kind of a tie, a dead tie, like if Jay White loses tonight, and it could be like a four-way match, I believe. But if Roosh loses, this means he's out of the match. While we also have Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe, which I don't think they're going to be in either way, because I don't think they'll be in there either way, because they don't have no points, so they're just playing to gain some dignity, like what the commentators were saying, like when they were talking about this match and hyping it up. But anyways, let's talk about with Bruce taking on Swerve Strickland. You grapple it out, and also until Swerve Strickland Irish whips Bruce right into the right corner ropes. This is where he shoulder tackle him. This is where he runs towards the left side. This is where he starts duck leapfrog, and then I believe he hit an arm drag. This is where he was on his knees, but Bruce was still standing. This is where fans were like, one half of the fans, they were like, Swerve's house. And then the other half was like, Roosh's house, like Swerve. And then they were going back and forth, arguing, with their chants, saying, Swerve's house, Roosh's house, Swerve's house. And they were chanting for who should win this match, which we all know who's going to win. It's none other than the favorite. But we're going to get to that point. This is where Roosh threw Swerve Strickland out of the ring after they hear the chants and looking face to face. This is where he runs right through the right side ropes, hit a flying front flip somersault senton right onto the former AEW Tag Team Champion. And this is where he had that bad left leg that he was limping off of, trying to walk it out, because I think he did a little more damages onto his knee. And this is where, the fans are continuing to argue on who's gonna win. They were like, no Roosh, no Swerve, no Roosh, no Swerve. This is where Roosh throws Swerve Strickland back in the ring. This is where he nearly stumbled when he got back in the ring as well. This is where he go right towards Swerve Strickland. This is where he pushes him right to the right, in the upper right corner of Team of the Turnbuckle. I think he don't give no damns as much as more than Jey Uso. Main event Jey Uso doesn't give a damn about what his cousin, the Tribal Chief, has to say. Because he started hitting nasty knife edge chops repeatedly right onto the chest of the leader of Mogul Embassy. This is where he started repeatedly doing so, which I think he's begging Gunther to have his little brother be a warm up chopper for his future potential match with Ring General if they ever cross paths in the future. But until then, he's provoking Gunther in this match against Swerve Strickland by using him as a warm-up chopper. This is where he after he tripped him down, and afterwards he tripped Swerve Strickland down into the bottom turnbuckle, start putting his foot right on both sides of Swerve's shoulders, start stomping and shaking right at the same time. But until Aubrey was like, hey, that's enough. Like, you need to get off before I count to 5. And this is where he gets off. This is where Swerve Strickland fought for the oldest trick in the book, like of Rush's move. Like, he thought he was gonna do the double feet to the face. He instantly covered his face when he was charging at him, but he just stomped right in front of him. And then a boot right into the face. One day we might see somebody not falling for this trick. But for now, I believe like we're going to see plenty of more gullible wrestlers like going to be that's going to be silly enough to fall for this trick from the leader of La Faction. And where he rolled into a backflip and did the little sexy laying pose like if he was Andrade El Idolo. This is where Swerve Strickland was very annoyed. He jumped right onto Roosh and grabbed onto his arm and tried to go for an arm lock right onto him. This is where he tried to make him tap, but this is where Roosh flips out of it and turned into a roll up. Luckily, he put his double shoulders down, but it didn't even matter because Swerve Strickland kicked out at 2 even when Aubrey Edwards counted to 2. This is where Swerve Strickland run charging at Roosh, but he gets caught with a power slam. This is where he only got a 2.1 count. Roosh was very pissed off about that. This is where Swerve Strickland's like my fans are counting on me to win, and they know this is my house, so I gotta let them know. I gotta let them know who's the house and who's the boss into this house. This is where Roosh started overruling him with some kicks like from his left leg, right leg, back and forth, left and right. This is where until he tried to go do a left-sided kick. And this is where Swerve Strickland grabbed onto his leg. This is where he laid it right into the middle of the turnbuckle. This is where he kicked the back thigh of Roosh. And this is where he hits a middle drop kick right onto him, which would be bent right back, right forward and back. Like it was very painful and deadly. And this is where Aubrey Edwards was like, "Oh, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Like Roosh, like you're." Like, can you still do this match? And this is where Roosh was like, yes, like it may hurt like hell, but I can still continue. And this is where he rolled out of the ring, I guess, to take a breather and walk out his leg that's been brutally smashed in a half bent manner, I should say. But this is where Swerve Strickland tried to catch him with catch him with a side swiping kick. But this is where Roosh counters, grabbing onto his leg, slamming him face first right onto the apron. This is where Roosh grabs on the Swerve and threw him right to the left corner of Barry Barricade in the upper left corner. And then he took him to the right corner to the right Barry Barricade by running him back and forth right to Barry Barricades, like in the back and forth pattern manner. This is where he hits a big stinging knife edge chop. This is where Irish whip Swerve Strickland right to the back into the left corner of the upper right of the ringside area, like into the barricade. This is where Swerve Strickland came back. This is where he spins around right behind Roosh and hits a German suplex. This is where he flips back up and he hits a middle buckle drop kick right onto Swerve Strickland, hitting back first right onto Barry Barricade, or his tombstone, I should say. And then both men was laid out flat in the ground. This is where they got back in the ring before Aubrey Edwards can even count to 10. This is where she started counting into the 10-second warning count out, like of both men down, until both men got up, like respectively. This is where Swerve Strickland tried to trip over tripped over Roosh right down onto the bottom turnbuckle onto the lower left corner of Team Ninja turnbuckle. This is where Roosh count out of it. He's like, no way, Jose. Like not today. Like, and this is where he hits a big right hand chop right across the face. This is where he started hitting chops right onto his shoulder, the bad right shoulder that brutally got beaten by Hangman Adam Page in that Texas Death Match at Full Gear. But anyway, this is where Swerve Strickland hits a big thunderous Instagiri kick right onto the head of Roosh, which he landed right back into the lower left corner. This is where Swerve Strickland tried to go for a running attack move onto Roosh. That's what his name is. This is where he hits a belly-to-belly suplex, countering in the process. This is where he landed back first right on Tina the turnbuckle. This is where Roosh was like breathing in and breathing out, yeah, now's my chance. This is my chance of getting back into the game and become be still in the tournament. This is where he runs right back onto the left, the upper right corner of turnbuckle back to the lower left corner. When it looked like he's about to hit the double drop kick, but this is where his leg gave out at the most inconvenient time, right in the middle, like he was running in the middle of the ring. And this is where Swerve Strickland came out there. This is where he started bending his leg into a single leg Boston Crab, but I checked, he wasn't from Boston. So it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense for doing a single leg Boston Crab, even for being a single leg. You might as well call it the single leg Seattle Crab. But either way, but it really don't matter because it's probably somebody from Boston that created the name of the move, of the submission move, of course. This is where Swerve Strickland had locked in. He got bent back right onto the other side, way too much to the right, where his other leg was. This is where Swerve Strickland, this is where he rolls out of it. This is where Swerve Strickland tried to run right through the right corner ropes with Bruce following suit after it hits a big knife edge chop 2 times in a row. This is where Swerve Strickland tried to go for a clothesline afterwards. This is where he ducks out of the way, hits a discus forearm right to the face of Swerve. This is where Roos grabs onto him. This is where he had him in a straight jacket pile driver, which he did so onto the former AEW Tag Team Champion. This is where he tried to go for a pin onto this Swerve Strickland, but he only got a 2.99999999999. Roos couldn't believe this because he never thought that would make him kick out. So he was like, how about I do my what's that double missile drop kick right to the bottom corner ropes. But I think this is where Swerve Strickland rolled out of the this is where he rolled out of the into the bottom corner apron. This is where Bruce tried to grab on the Swerve. Swerve Strickland pulls him into the apron. This is where he had him right beside him. This is where he tried to run towards him and try to go, I believe, for the Swerve double foot stomp. But this is where Bruce hits a belly-to-belly suplex, making him crash not only to the ring apron, but also on the concrete floor, which is the second hardest part of the ringside area. More harder than my nephew's keyboards. See? But anyways, I was like, he's definitely gonna be feeling some back pains, and shoulder pains, when he gets up in the morning. And what my father would say, better hope they have some painkiller medications on them at this time if they're gonna be wrestling in matches like this. But anyways, this is where Roosh goes Swerve Strickland back in the ring. This is where Swerve Strickland kicks out of the count at 2.999999 double triple nines, negative 0.1 away from being 3. And even Tony Schiavone and Excalibur said this is the second time in a row that Swerve Strickland kicked out of that. This is where Roosh started arguing with Aubrey Edwards, which is a dumb idea either way, because like she's doing her job of counting the pinfalls. She can't help it that the wrestlers kick out of those said pinfalls. Like, so don't argue with the referee when she's trying to help you out. But anyway, that's where Aubrey was like, it's like I promise you, like it's two. Like I'm sorry, you're just down. You were down by a 0.1, like in two, it's just where Strickland knew that she was about to hit three, so he kicked out when the next time, when she was about to pat into the mat. But no matter, this is where Bruce went up on the top rope. This is where Swerve Strickland got back up, knocking him off the top rope. This is where Swerve Strickland went onto the top rope himself, hits a 450 splash right onto the leader of the faction. But this is where Roos kicked out at 0.99999. I'm like, how did he kick out of a move like that? It may not be his finishing move, nor his signature move, but a move like that, rarely kicks out it rarely gets kicked out like that. Like, it barely kicked out in 2.9. So, how did he kick out of that so easily? It looks like a re-energized bull, like when he got back up, and he looked at him like, you messed with the albino bull, and now you're gonna get the horns. And this is where he started hitting punch and right hand. This is where he tried to. This is where punches and chops, continuing to provoke Gunther to be on the envy list. But you have a special. They have a special name for him on the list, or special spot on the list, not a name, a special spot on his envy list, along with Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, and other wrestlers that like doing it. And so do Mark Briscoe and Jay White, of course. But this is where Roos runs right through the right corner ropes. This is where Swerve Strickland does that roll and hits a Pater face slam right into the middle of the canvas. This is where Swerve Strickland rolls up. That's where he crosses over, they go for a suplex, which is to a flat brain buster, I should say. This is where Swerve Strickland tried to pin Roosh, but Aubrey Rhodes counted one. Aubrey Rhodes counted two, but Roosh kicked out at 2.999999999, like double triple nines, negative 0.1 away from being three. This is where Swerve Strickland afterwards then hit that back heel kick right onto that back-legged heel kick right onto Roosh's head. This is where the one half of the fans that are rooting for Swerve Strickland was cheering for him, and the ones that are doing that Prince Nana dance that he now updated with his legs shaking around on the side, and then doing that cowboy dance. But anyway, this is where Swerve Strickland hits that double foot stomp onto Roosh. Finally got the 1, 2, 3, and emerged into the finals with 12 points, adding 3 more points, making up from last week. And it's going to be a guarantee he's going to face Jon Moxley. But if Jay White wins tonight, he'll be added to the match, making it a 3-way, because he'll score 3 points as well. And that'll be both men, all 3 men have 12 points to break and whoever wins the match gets to be in the finals at AEW's World's End. Speaking of World's End, I might be able to afford to get the pay-per-view, and I might do a review for AEW World's End, yeah. But yeah, but make sure y'all watch my review a week from the Saturday, where if I do order the pay-per-view for World's End and watch it and review it like I'm doing with tonight's Holiday Bash edition of AEW Dynamite. But anyway, this is where he survived this match. Continued to stay on top, second to Moxley, of course, but still he's still up there of facing Moxley again. And either way, I'm starting to have a feeling that Swerve Strickland just might do it, might win. And whenever he faced whether if it's Bryan Danielson or Eddie Kingston or even Andrade El Idolo that wins at this Saturday. We could see like this. This Saturday, and at the go home edition, like on the Friday after Dynamite, or even Dynamite itself, like next Wednesday, we could see whoever's going to be in the finals. Like we could see Bryan Danielson or a Brody King or Claudio Castagnoli, Eddie Kingston, or even Andrade El Idolo, like winning the match, and they can face Swerve Strickland. And who you think's going to win? I would say between now, I'll say Swerve Strickland or Eddie Kingston or Bryan Danielson. Y'all let me know what y'all's predictions now in the comments down below. If you excuse me, I'll be right back. I'm going to be checking on my nephew. But anyways, I'm back. Super Ninja Austin back. We're gonna talk about. We got Bryan Danielson ready to face his Blackpool Combat Club teammate by sending a message on who's he gonna face next into the Continental Classic in the Blue Leagues. Like, and it'll be a guarantee for him to be in the finals. And this is where Andrade was also like we got some unfinished business. This is where Claudio was like, just because that's what I won, like doesn't mean I'm happy. And this is where Bryan Danielson, and he's like, and this is where Bryan Danielson is like, Claudio, like, for you being my best friend, I'm still gonna beat your face in, and I am going to get I'm gonna win to get earn my shot of being in the semifinals. But not semifinals, the finals. Right? No, it's semifinals. I'm right. This is where we got some sad announcement by where Chris Jericho announced that Kenny Omega will no longer compete right at this time because he at the hospital after such an effect of diverticulitis, like which is a very bad sickness that you cannot be able to do anything, like, which that's very sad. And yeah, and before I continue, I want to give my well wishes to the former AEW World Champion at this unfortunate time, like, and he gets better, like, in a speedy recovery. And my hopes and prayers and wishes goes to Kenny Omega. But anyway, this is where Jericho's like, as you can see, he shared on social media, like now that he has a news that Kenny Omega is out of AEW indefinitely. And he's like, and we don't know how long, like how short this is gonna be, but one thing that's affected, I guess, the Golden Jets like opportunity, like to become the AEW Tag Team Championship, but that's about to be on hold. That's gonna be on hold, like because we're supposed to face Ricky Starks and Big Bill at World's End, and we'll decide we're gonna do is we'll do the most important thing to get his health and stuff, and then we're gonna let you guys know, like well, I'm gonna be praying for you, Kenny. Like this is where fans start chanting Kenny. It's like Jericho's like, yeah, that's right. Like bring that support to Kenny. Like I'm gonna be here in the meantime, like until you be back here, and then the Golden Jets will get our tag titles soon. Like, but now it's time to say, without further ado, like we now say good night and kiss and goodbye. And he's like, bang, did the bang kind of hand signal from Kenny. But excuse me, I'll be right back. Is the birdie bird on? You want Juicy? No. You want to watch Kaji? Yeah. Where's your iPad? Oh, there it. Oh, it's right over here. Here you go. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, Twain. Here's the PP. Some pizza? Pizza, baby? Whatever you wanted. Okay, SNA back, but what's this where also Jericho said, well, we're pulling for you, Kenny. We'll see you soon. This is where the fans showed their support with their sign say, like, feel better, Kenny, which I even gave up my gave a message to him when he posted that when he was at the hospital of recently suffering that sickness. And I said, hopefully you won't be in the hospital for too long. And I wish and pray for a speedy recovery, like showing my support myself. Like, and you're gonna always have. I'm gonna show all my supports for all my favorite wrestlers, courtesy to the SNA podcast by Super Ninja Austin himself. But anyway, this is where, it's some. This is where we got Mark Briscoe taking on Jay Lethal next to see who's gonna win for having at least 3 points for their dignity, playing for dignity rather than for competition now. And then they had a little like a Ring of Honor style match, like which they showed some respect until they got ready to go for it, grab onto each other into a grappling game, but before that they start stalling, they start arguing back, like, come on, like you come here, no, you coming with me. And this is where Mark Briscoe puts him in his corner into the lower right, and this is where he started hitting chops. This is where Jay Lethal hit the chop right back, answering back Mark Briscoe's chop fest. This is where Jay Lethal put him in the lower left corner. This is where Mark Briscoe counters and hits him with a chop, like onto him. This is where Mark Briscoe continuously hitting chops right onto the former Ring of Honor World Champion. This is where Jay Lethal answered back with a knife edge chop of his own right into his chest, which continuing the provocation to Gunther and his envy list, which I'll say at least somewhere near the 90% mark that the AEW wrestlers are purposely doing this just to tick off Gunther. But this is where Jay Lethal Irish whip with a, I'll say with an H after the W, right after the W, and a P right after the I. Like this is where Irish whipping him right into the right corner of ropes. This is where he hits a hip toss, and this is where he put him in a snapmare position, and he does a cartwheel and a drop kick right onto his head. This is where Mark Briscoe go right towards the upper left corner. This is where he Irish whip him from put him onto the lower left corner, right into the upper right corner. This is where he tried to go for a right hand attack. This is where Mark Briscoe counters and hits a strike right into him. This is where he tried to go and try to grab onto Mark Briscoe, but he hits a big thunderous uppercut right into his face. This is where Mark Briscoe goes right on the middle ropes. This is where Mark Briscoe get ready to hit a middle drop kick right onto the former Black Machismo, or the part-time Black Machismo. And this is where he tried to go for the pin. This is where he kicks out at 2. That's where Mark Briscoe is like, damn it. Like, and this is where he picks up Jay Lethal. This is where he goes up for a suplex, but this is where Jay Lethal started hanging on to Mark Briscoe. This is where he started hitting a right hand right into the midsection. This is where he tried to go for a suplex again. But this is where Mark Briscoe started hitting a hook right into the gut. This is where Mark Briscoe tried to go for a suplex to Jay Lethal. This is where he started going for suplexes. Like, this is where they're like, I'm gonna do it. Like, no, I'm gonna do it. This is where they started going back and forth. Like, Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe was continuing to do so. This is where until Jay Lethal got more double the strength that Mark Briscoe was trying to gain, like from trying to suplex the former Ring of Honor World Champion, but he countered out of it. Hit a suplex on him by Mark Briscoe, tried to counter it, but he prevented him from getting down onto the ground, kept him up in the air, and finally suplexed him right into the canvas. This is where Mark Briscoe's like, yes, sir, I did it. Like, finally. And then this is where he hits like a lethal front flip, like a lethal injection front flip, like by kicking him right onto the corner, like in the right side corner of the ringside area, because he was in the right corner apron. This is where not Mark Briscoe. Jay Lethal goes for a suicide dive afterwards, right onto Mark Briscoe, like back first, right into the barricade. This is where Jay Lethal started doing the style and profiling walk, the Jeff Jarrett style version, of course. Of course, he's teaming with his Uncle Jeff. or Uncle Double J, I should say. And this is where he put the two fingers up like if he was Chad Gable, which I'm not sure if he's gonna file a lawsuit against him, unless WWE came up with that catchphrase, and own the trademark to that. But yeah, we're gonna see. Let's hope they don't get no paper. They don't have those what's those lawsuit papers, but I don't think that's the case because he didn't even say thank you, thankfully. But this is where he tried to dive right onto Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe counters out of it, intercepting him, suplexing him right onto the concrete floor. This is where Mark Briscoe goes right onto the apron. This is where he's like, yeah, them boys. He's like, oh. And like bang bang, and this is where he runs right onto the middle of the apron, hits a flying elbow drop off the hardest part of the ring, right onto the concrete floor where Jay Lethal was laying at. This is where Mark Briscoe was hyping the fans up. This is where he brought Jay Lethal back in the ring. This is where we had them fight around a bit, like throwing strikes on each other respectively, until Mark Briscoe throws him right back out in the ring. This is where he hits a diving sliding kick right into the face. This is where he runs right into the lower right corner of the ropes. This is where he grabbed onto a chair. This is where the referee was like, what are you doing with that chair? This is not a no DQ match. Like, this is where he's like, yeah, I know. This is where the commentators thought he was gonna give the referee a seat, but Tony Schiavone's like, no, like he's using it as a little stepping stool to get to jump over the top rope and dive onto Jay Lethal, which he did. So he stepped on like one foot, like I believe it was left foot, and then like a diving rolling front flip right onto Jay Lethal on the right hand corner of the ringside area. But then this is where he got back in the ring. This is where Jay Lethal intercept. This is where he it is an intercept because he hits the lethal slam or the lethal face buster, like because he had a backbreaker and it hit him slam face first into the canvas. This is where he goes right onto the machismo elbow drop right onto his longtime 20-year wrestling best friend. But this is where Mark Briscoe kicks out at 2.999999999, double triple nines, 0.1 away from being 3, of course. Jay Lethal's like, you gotta be kidding me. What did that have to take? And this is where Jay Lethal tried to go for his finishing touches, which is his finishing maneuver, of course, which he tried to go for the lethal injection. But this is where Mark Briscoe picks him up and flips him right over him. This is where Mark Briscoe kicks him into the midsection. This is where he hits a big nasty knife edge chop. This is where Jay Lethal tried to go for a clothesline, but this is where Mark Briscoe hits an exploder suplex right in the middle of the canvas. This is where he had him right to the lower left-hand corner. This is where Mark Briscoe hits a big, brutal and painful clothesline. Even you can feel it, like when you're even in your house watching it. This is where he picks him up. This is where he goes for the Fisher Buster right onto Jay Lethal. This is where he tried to go for a pin onto Lethal, but Lethal barely kicked out at 2.999999999, double triple nines, 0.1 away from being 3. And then fans were chanting, "This is awesome!" Clap, clap, clap. I was like, and yeah, I agree. It's and I noticed I've been given the top 3 matches of the night, to the Golden Leagues, on the 3 matches of the Golden Leagues break of the Continental Classic tournament, and sometimes with the Blue Leagues, but mostly the Golden. That's because they don't disappoint. And I'll say the second match of the night does definitely belongs to Swerve Strickland taking on Roosh in a classic and physical competition. And also, I'll say this third match of the night because this was very entertaining. Even though none of these men are not going to head to the semifinals, they're automatically eliminated because they haven't won not even a single match until one of of these finally did. One of these guys finally did at tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite, the Holiday Bash edition. But this is where Mark Briscoe tried to do for the Razor's Edge powerbomb, but this is where Jay Lethal kicks him right in the midsection. This is where he tried to go. This is where he tried to hit a move, but he didn't know what the hit, but he waited for too long because this is where Mark Briscoe hits a Dream Valley driver right onto him, like spinning on sideways. This is where Mark Briscoe goes right on the top rope, which I believe it was his finishing move, which is called the Froggy Bow. This is where he was getting ready to hit the maneuver. This is where, but before he started like, yeah, then boys. This is where he tried to hit the elbow drop, but Jay Lethal got the knees up right on time. This is where Jay Lethal was getting ready to hit his move, the lethal injection, trying to make it a guaranteed, but I'm not sure if it was a guaranteed, like. Because he dodges right out of the way, trying to go for a clothesline, but this is where Jay Lethal counters into a double arm hook, tiger driver, I should say. This is where Jay Lethal tried to go for a pin, but this is where Mark Briscoe kicks out right 0.1 seconds away from being 3, which is 2.999999999, double triple nines. He just kicked out right before the referee he put his hand on the mat for 3. After that tiger driver, it looked like a new signature finishing maneuver from the former Ring of Honor champion. This is where he tried to go for it again, but I'm not sure he should have done that unless he was double lucky for sure. But you know the rules. It's not a guaranteed when you try to go for a second time. When you go for a second time when it does successfully execute the first time. So I'm not sure what Jay Lethal was thinking about here. But this is where Mark Briscoe tried to go for a clothesline. This is where Jay Lethal ducks out of the way right on time. This is where he tried to go the third time as a charm to the lethal injection. But this is where Mark Briscoe intercepts, and that made Jay Lethal triple cursed. And not only triple cursed, but I'll say like a 5-way curse, I should say, for not getting it this time. With Mark Briscoe counters it into a burning hammer, like a burning vertebrae hammer. This is where Mark Briscoe hits a tiger driver of his own, respectively. Mark Briscoe go for a pin and got the 1, 2, 3, and it looks like he finally got a win for dignity. Unfortunately, it's not to stay in the tournament because he automatically got eliminated because he only got 3 points. Like, if he was at least in a 9-point lead, I'd say he could probably work something out. Like with 9 points, then he would have stayed in the semifinals. Stay in the tournament. In the semifinals. But what's your thoughts on this matter? Do you think that? What do you think about this, and who do you think is going to win the main event and going to be facing Swerve Strickland? Do you think it's only going to be Jon Moxley and he's going to be Jay White, or do you think it's going to be Jay White and he's going to be added and he's going to add 12 points tying Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland? Let me know in the comments down below. We're going to move on to the next. With AEW AEW announcing that he was inducted to the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, when MJF started saying, so I have some very touching and inspiring messages from his honor of being in the Hall of Fame. And them saying he's officially inducted into the 2023 Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. He was I feel absolutely blessed. So much to me. I accomplished a lot in a very short period of time of my career as a professional wrestler for the past 5 years and an athlete. This would be my formal. It's 2023 now, and we're still with the entire semitism. I think it's so important to think about all these things. You're talking about the fact that I am Jewish, and we can't run and hide. We can't be scared. And we need to say that you could be anything, but the world with the Jews going to be just like you. and we just want to be treated as such. And I was like, yeah, why not? Because they're people too, they're people too, and they should be treated as such with plenty of proper respect. Like it don't matter you see different about them. Like you should respect them as a human being like they are. Like what difference does it make with them being just a different culture? And like I've been told before and been raised, like like ethnicities are only culture. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like they're like like even if they're different kinds of culture, like they're still people too. They're still living, breathing human beings at the same time, and they bleed out the same color as we do. Like so, what's the judge about that? Like it doesn't matter what your age, ethnicity, or even what kind of person you are in general. Like if you have a certain dream that you're chasing after, and you work hard and believe that you're gonna get the outcome, like anything's possible. Like I think you should stick in that way, and you're gonna be looking at those results, like and being the most successful person that has the career in the whatever career you're going after. Like you're gonna eventually gonna be seeing those results, and you're gonna be very glad that you believed in yourself. And I got and MJF. That's what he did. Like, and that's why he's the greatest world champion in professional wrestling, and he's the All Elite Wrestling World Champion. But next, we got Samoa Joe coming out the ring. Like we're gonna hear this is where it start off with a promo battle between him and MJF, which they were assuming that either of the that each other they throwing accusations, like they basically throwing accusations on each other on if either of them are the devil. But this is where Samoa Joe was like. And he was like I'm here in Oklahoma City because I am seeking answers here. And he said, last week I was seeking answers, but like I was asking I was he was like I was asking the right questions, but maybe I wasn't asking the right people about these questions. You see, like even see if Roderick Strong may be the devil, like in the bulb. It's like maybe he could be the devil, but he maybe could be a bulb on the Christmas tree. But maybe like Roddy has a point, like he's talking about here, like because week after week, like we're gonna assaulted by the devil, and it seems that our luscious attention are not the only victim. Like as a matter of fact, like for some odd reason, like Hangman had appears was a victim of the devil and his goons. Fans are booing like they boo. He's like, we think back into the delicious attack like champion. But every time the Devils attack somebody, he get plenty of footage of getting stomped off. But our world champion, he was just found gingerly laid down into the back, passed out, like very conveniently on the ground. And he's like, so once again, I have to come here asking the right questions, maybe not to the right people. So that's why MJF, like, why don't you come out here and answer a few questions for me right here, right now? This is where MJF did came out, like with his theme music. This is where he's like, right now, you're really accusing me right now and thinking I'm the devil right now. That's what you say. And then he was and he's like, yes, absolutely. I'm asking these questions right now. And this is where MJF was this is from the same man that said, I'm your property now. And I'm your property now until December 31st at World's End. And said to me that, you are my property, that like mocking him in his voice. This is where and he's like, and let me ask you this question, Mr. No Show Joe, which is I'll say it has a very well ring to it because it obviously rhymes, but it's very hilarious. Like, it could be a very hilarious nickname. Like whoever Samoa Joe's arch rival would say, they could come up with Come up with No Show Joe. This is where he also said, like, see, No Show Joe, like, you're more concerned about being my property as much as more you focusing on your diet, like, which I hope is not another fat shaming joke, like on that time when he said, well, like back in September, was it? He was like you like Samoa Joe must have gotten my theme music mixed up with an ice cream truck. But anyways, this is where like it becomes very clear that you cared about. And then this is where he also says, like, so I can jump in the back and do this around the ring. Like, I don't recall them laying a finger on you, Joe. Like, I couldn't help but know that I couldn't lay a finger on you, Joe. Like, if you have your suspicions and accusations on me, like, why not I throw some accusations on you? Because like when I got attacked backstage and they were surrounding the ring, they never touched you, Joe, and it's not because they are afraid of you. And, like, it's because they possibly are fooling the fans here, like that you could possibly be the mystery devil that stole my mask. And he's like, so let's see. I don't like you, Joe. Like, and now I don't trust you, Joe. Like, so I'm a little confused. Like, why am I waiting until December 30th at World's End? Like, how about we do this right here, right now? This is where he took off his scarf. He took off his his dress coat. This is where he took off even, I believe, his tie. This is where he started pushing Samoa Joe. This is where he went face to face with him. This is where some MJF was like, "What are you gonna do now, Joe?" And this is where they saw the Devil's goons coming out there. This is where it showed that none of them are working for the devil. Like, why else they're finally attacking them now, trying to attack them now? But even for trying to attempt to attack, like, it was a very unsuccessful attempt to do so because they beat him down, throw him outside the ring, and then once they're done, this is where the Titantron showed a video of the Mystery Devil, like, and the lights sort of dimmed in, like, in the arena, dimmed out, I should say, in the arena, like. And this is where the mystery devil's like Maxwell, like, and he typed in this like you call yourself a hero? Like, can you pass the test? Like, how about you can pass the test next week? Like, putting those Ring of Honor tag team titles on the line. And then this is where MJF was like, Joe, like, I promise that I'm cool. Like, and this is where MJF was like, I promise my brochacho Adam Cole that I'm gonna keep on the championship. But I know you, Samoa Joe, you're gonna might say no again, but yeah, but I promise him I'm gonna defend those Ring of Honor tag team titles no matter what, like, until he comes back. And this is where Samoa Joe grabs onto his microphone and he's like, "We accept, damn it! Like, and we're gonna go. We're gonna take down these goons, and we're gonna successfully defend those tag team titles, and we're gonna kick their ass." And he's like, and Maxwell, it seems like the best way to take down the devil is with our own bare hands. And then he's like, next week we beat this boys' asses and show that we're nothing to play with. And MJF said, "Well, I can agree on that," but it seems like that and neither Samoa Joe or MJF are the mystery devil. Like, even though it may look like very too believable, like what it seems like with MJF being attacked from behind, but we didn't know who exactly attacked him from behind. With him getting been bashed in the back of the skull with a beer bottle, but there was no blood. But just because that might happen doesn't mean that makes MJF the culprit. The culprit of the mystery, the culprit that's the mystery devil all along. Which what would be the point of turning the storyline with MJF being the devil mastermind in the first place? Even though he did lots of slick things before, but he was more like more upfront rather than behind closed doors, or I won't say closed doors, to say like rather than hiding but backstage, I should say. But do you think it is MJF, or do you think it's Samoa Joe, which I don't think it's neither of these guys, or do you think somebody else like a Jack Perry or Pac, or even Adam Cole himself, or even a Mustafa Ali, because like for the fact that he was the mystery hacker of SmackDown and the leader, the mystery leader of Retribution. And we can see the same with this mystery devil man, like taking MJF's mask. And this is where we have the best friends, like, and this is where Renee Paquette was like when she was interviewing the best friends, Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy, and Chris Allen. 23 is winding down now. Like Trent, Rocky, like the future. What's the future with you guys? Trent Beretta's like, well. And then this is where Rocky Romero started saying that. Like I had a wonderful 2023. Like I was seeing all-weight championship until last week. I lost it. Like in their latest event. Like I'm waiting for the new international opportunity, and I just want to bring gold around my waist. And this is where Orange Cassidy's like, oh, all right, I get it. Like you want a shot against me for the international championship? Like, you got it, buddy. And this is where he walked out of there. This is where Trent Beretta and Chris Allen are congratulating Rocky Romero of earning the shot at the international championship. And yeah, make sure to stay tuned. It's going to be the holiday bash is still going to continue this Friday and Saturday, which will be Rampage edition. It will be the holiday bash edition of Rampage and the holiday bash edition of Collision this Saturday, Friday and Saturday. Make sure you stay tuned till then. This is where we have the sort of a number one contenders match with Saraya taking on Riho, the inaugural AEW Women's Champion. Where Timeless Tony, but before either of them came out, this is where Timeless Tony Storm came out. This is where she walk over to the announcer's desk, like with the commentary, and she hilarious said like I heard that you are a landlord, like Taz, like you. Aren't you called the human duplex machine? And he was like, as a matter of fact, I am. I was like Taz, like I thought you were the human suplex, like and whatever. Like either way, like I think nowadays, like he is the human duplex machine, like being a landlord. Well, I'm not sure what he's doing in his outside wrestling projects, like something that's non-wrestling, like being a landlord and own an apartment building, but I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't know anything about his outside WWE projects, like let alone anything about his personal life, like outside of the squared circle. But whatever he's doing, I hope we're doing successful like he did in his wrestling career. Like unfortunately, his successful run, he didn't really have that much of a successful run in WWE. Only just at first he was known as a monster in the match until like somebody backstage was being like a whiny and just complain about him being unsafe, which that's a complete lie. And he's everything but unsafe. But anyway, this is where we got the match. I was like, this was second goofy wrestling of the night with Tony Storm calling Taz the human duplex machine and landlord. But also, first goes to MJF saying like, you care more concerned about me being your property much more than your diet. Like I'll say that was the top two goofy wrestling of the night, and that's what we definitely need in wrestling. We need some half for seriousness, the other half goofy, just for the entertainment side of things in pro wrestling. That's the point of the industry, is to be entertained, like as a fan. But anyway, this is where we have Riho and Soraya's grapple out until she had her down, sitting down in the snapmare position until she booted her right into the face. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but she only got a 1.9 second count by Aubrey. This is where she tripped over by grabbing under her legs and slamming her back first right onto the slamming Riho right into the middle of the canvas. This is where she tried to go for a pinfall once again. This is where she rolls out and kicks out at one even. This is where she hits a Pele against the Giri kick. This is where Ruby Soho was watching it backstage on the TV where usually the interview booth is normally at. This is where Riho put Soraya right into the ring. This is where she tried to go for the Dragon's Gate sliding kick right into the face of Soraya, but Soraya moved out of the way. This is where Riho went right onto the outside in the left corner ringside area, but this is where Soraya started moving right onto the top corner of the ringside area. This is where she hit the flying head scissor, letting her hit back first right onto the concrete. This is where she hits another one, spinning her around. This is where she flipped her over right into the left corner side. This is where Riho got back on her feet. Excuse me. But yeah, this is where she Irish whips Soraya right onto the upper left corner barricade. This is where she tried to go for attacking like a clothesline, I suppose. Like that's what she was trying to hit. But she dug right behind the security guard. He was like, no, don't hit me, Rio. This is where Rio's like really, like, what is wrong with you, Soraya? This is where Soraya kicks her right into the midsection. And she's like, that's what's wrong, like you little peasant, like, and peasant, like you're never gonna be AEW Women's World Champion, never ever. Like, you're not like not beating me or that my so-called best friend, that's my former teammate, like that's confused out of her mind. Time was Tony Storm, and this is where she kicks her right in the midsection. This is where she grabs her right into the corner. This is where she tried to go. This is where she tried to go for like a power bomb, but she picks her up like she was about to hit a pile driver. But she swinged her right onto like the left and right of the top corner in the top corner barricade, like hitting Riho's side, like on the left and then second right, like right onto the barricade, hitting her hard right onto the barricade. This is where Soraya got back in the ring to do the count out until she got back in the ring. This is where Riho got back up. This is where Riho put her in the snapmare position. This is where she did a double knees right on the Soraya. Got the 1, 2, 3, and Riho earned herself a spot to face Tony Storm at World's End, which will be a week from this Saturday, of course. And what's y'all's thoughts on this? Like, do you think Riho could pull off an upset on Timeless Tony Storm, which I don't think now's the time to do so? Like, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Tony Storm with this character, but I gotta admit, like, what everybody in the IWC is talking about, like, ever since she changed her character to this 1920s actress gimmick, like looking like a Swedish opera singer in denial, like at time was Tony Storm, she's been killing it, and even making herself more entertaining, and even with the AEW Women's World Championship belt and having one of her biggest fans, Mariah May, I believe. Yeah, Mariah May. Mariah May, always being on her side and always admiring her success, and she wants to be just like her when she have her start in AEW. This is where Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm, hilariously they got onto the Luther's arms, and she pointed go forward, Luther. And this is where she went right onto the ropes. This is where she started cussing out Riho, saying like, you were not supposed to You are not supposed to win this damn match, and you better take it back, or I'm not going to wait until a week from the Saturday. This is where, and also she also asked Luther to give her some, which was like a little tiny spy scope, I should say, a little spyglass scope, like that looking like if she's like if she's plankton size from SpongeBob, like if she was like 1 inch or 2 inches tall. But that's not the case at all. She's clearly way taller than that, even though she's probably like five 5 foot 5'1" or 2 inches. Like that doesn't mean she's that short. So you don't really have to insult her by making her look like if she's that small. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like well, a 2 + 2 equals potatoes moment, but I don't want to give a 2 + 2 equals potato because it's just a joke. So I'm not gonna take it seriously. I'm not gonna be like those critics on Instagram that criticize me or making the joke of Oscar. But anyway, this is where Riho started hitting lefts and right hands right into the face of Riho. This is where Thomas Tony Storm tried to go for a clothesline. This is where Riho ducks right to the left corner side. This is where she trips over Tony Storm. This is where she ready to do the Dragon Gates swing kick right into the Tiger Feint kick. Well, I'm talking about Tiger Feint kick. Like when she had her into the left corner in the middle ropes, like when she went right through the right hand corner rope. This is where she starts saying, like, yeah, do you surrender now or do you want to get more beatings? And yeah, we don't have to wait until December 30th. But when she turned around, this is where Tony Storm's assistant and fan, Mariah May, came from behind. And this is where Riho turned around and she got whacked in the face across Thomas Tony Storm's AEW Women's Championship. And this is where Thomas Tony Storm's like, what are you doing with my belt? Like, nobody touched my precious baby but me. Like, that's the first word we're going to learn today. This is where Mariah May's like, but didn't that impress you? Like, I helped you out, and I just whacked it with that championship. Like, you got to be proud of me at some hand at that. This is where Tony Storm's like, okay, whatever. This is where she started talking to. That's where she started asking the fans and Luther. So like, I still don't know who this girl is. Like, do you know what this girl is? And this is where I believe some of the fans were playing along, saying like, no, I don't know who she is. Like pretending that she's some random fan that just came from the audience. Like what the fans would do, like when they're not supposed to, like when they get attacked by security, when they try to meet their favorite wrestlers way too close or attack them, which they get banned for life from any future wrestling shows. But yeah, this is where Tony Storm, like, I thought like she's not familiar, like, but I kind of appreciate her for the help, but I just don't know who the hell is she. That's what she was like. And I was like, yeah, she's definitely the MVP of hilariousness. Like I would say both her and MJF of the night. And I think, yeah, but her being Tony, it's very entertaining. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of this timeless Tony Storm gimmick, but I think that she's doing very successful. I think, along with the other guys on YouTube, I was like, I cannot deny the fact that she's very successful with this gimmick as timeless Tony Storm, and it's even given her a more memorable title reign. And I believe it's going to continue, even defeating Riho. And I think the person that should dethrone timeless Tony Storm at this point should be none other than her biggest fan that's trying to take her place, which is Mariah May, which has so much story to tell, but we need to build up to that point. We still need to have her debut in her match, which that'll be in 2024, perhaps at the first episode of Dynamite or Rampage or Collision in the new year in 2024. But what's the specific date that you have? You think that Mariah May's gonna make her AEW in-ring debut? Let me know in the comments down below. This is where this is where Tony Schiavone was like this is where I got an announcement like in paper from Christian Cage, like while he's on a well-deserved vacation, like for the holidays. This is where fans will start booing the absolute sugar honey iced tea on the TNT Championship. This is where he was like I understand that the Radar Superstar has challenged me for no disqualification match at World's End. That Tony Schiavone read that the paper message that Christian Cage gave to Tony Schiavone. He was like, he continues like, and so just to put all your tiny minds at ease, I will let everybody know that I will make my triumphant return this Saturday live on TNT on AEW Collision. Where I will address Adam Copeland and answer my needly gritty questions about what it transpired on Dynamite a couple weeks ago in Montreal. I expect nothing more or less than the hero's welcome. And he gave a very disgusted look to the current about the current TNT championship having made him read. Fans were booing boo, and Tony Schiavone's like, I'm apologize for saying this right now. I don't think of none of these things that he insulted you about. This is what he's like, I'm a sincerely the TNT champion, patriarch or AEW, Christian Cage. And he also said, all you need to do is to sit down and shut up to the Oklahoma fans. I forgot to say that too in the beginning, which I was like, and he also apologized about that. That's not my words. It's obviously Christian's word because, for the fact he's the most hated guy in AEW right now, as of in the current time, of course. But let's move on to what do you think he has to address Adam Copeland this Saturday at AEW Collision? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'd love to hear from y'all's opinions. Okay, I'm back. Super Ninja Austin, and we're gonna talk about this is where MJF went backstage to Samoa Joe. This is where they started arguing, saying he knew he was now you're not the devil, but I still think you're the devil. If you excuse me, I have my own personal business I need to attend to. This is where he's like, all right, fine, go on, without me. And this is where he walks off. This is where he'd seen a mask that looked like from one of the henchmen of the devil imposter that stole MJF's mask, the mystery devil imposter, I should say, yeah. And this is where it said Mogul Embassy. It was their locker room. He knocked on the door. He's like, hey, Prince Nine. Oh, hey, Maxwell. This is where he grabs Prince Nine. He's like, what the hell you doing? What is this sugar honey iced tea? Care to explain that you and your boys that are the mystery devil and his minions, huh? This is where Swerve Strickland stepped in and went right in front of Maxwell Jacob Freeman's like, yes, can I help you? And then this is where Maxwell Jacob was like, oh, hey, Swerve, I have some words to say to you. And this is where Swerve Strickland was like, be careful how you've been laying your hands on my property there. And then he was like, I guess finally we great to see you eye to eye now, Mr. Freeman. You've been ducking me my whole entire career in AEW. What is up with that, man? And this is where MJF was like, skirt, hey, Swerve, Shane. Garmin's I'm just playing Mr. Shane Swerve Strickland. I was kidding. Look at you, man. We got a big history. We do these long car rides on the road every single week. We're trying to make a name for ourselves in the independent scene. He's like, now look at you, man. You all grown up. Always grown up. More than I've grown up. You're the moments of the world. The biggest star this company has to offer. I'm so proud of you, man. Make it success. But however, though. like, see, like, I've been ducking you. Like, reason why we never had to get contact the place because unfortunately, there's levels to this sugar. This because there's levels to the sugar honey iced tea, which is I believe that's a verse to Meek Mill's song, which my brother used to listen to back in 2015. But anyway, this is where MJF was like, and to make matters worse, like I don't like I don't hear theme music. Like think of it in mind. Like therefore, none. That's also none of your star power is either. Like this was sort of like when you talking about this car wash back in the day, man. Like that was amazing. Like you remember that? They them say I absolutely do. And he's like we go to New York, New Jersey, and all the places these kids like you the best. Like you were the best chauffeur in my life, Maxwell. And he's like sleep on the road trip, like you kind of got like because you're all because of you. Thank you, man. I appreciate. I'll show you my appreciation, man. And then the interaction because you and me, like a few years ago, like man, like it didn't even. It, and you said you couldn't just have a tryout and then you just couldn't do it like at the other company, which is I think is a nod to WWE when he was in his time in the cruiserweight division as Isaiah Swerve Scott, like when he was in NXT in 205 Live, which he referenced that on here. This is where this is what you like. He's like you're just a whiny little BITCH as a champion, and he's like yeah, like yeah, you're right, like Maxwell, like there are levels to this. Like you do tryouts, I sign contracts like immediately, and be careful like how you talk to me right now, like Maxwell, because the last person that did talk back to me like this, I hung him outside the ring, dude. Hung him outside the ring, outside the ring in the left corner, over 13,000 people at a pay per view, like when you were just getting your championship back, and with a chain. He was like I'm like so you are a good talker. Like you're starting to get better with your skills and your talks. Like I'm again proud of you, Swerve. Like you talk about. Like it's like, are you talking about Hangman like way too much now? Like and it's kind of sounding way too obsessive, and it has me nothing. I couldn't help but notice. Like the funny thing that you're talking about because I'm your AEW World Champion, a kid. Like so, I think that you need to check your tone and watch your mouth. Like when what you're talking about, you need to show some respect. Pull those hand me down flavor flayed grills out of your mouth. I was dying with laughter once again. I was like, third goofy wrestling of the night. Like, not trying to do it in a row, but I'm saying like him and Tony Storm know how to bring some goofy and hilarious entertainment into AEW at this time. Yeah, take the favorite grills out of your mouth, and it is like, and it's where, but while I'm at it, like this question I want to ask you, it is where it's like, okay, like since you're continuing to speak to me, like bring it on, my man. This is where MJF's like, hey, like more than anything, you like more than that, you want to be the AEW World Champion, no doubt about it. Like, yeah, of course, because I just talked about, I just talked about that from he said on an interview on the wrestling, which was posted on the wrestling news from Wrestle Talk. Make sure y'all check that out from earlier, like episode 186, which will be it's part 71, the wrestling news, like where I talked about the wild wrestling news stories and rumors that SNA fans need to know from the Wrestle Talk article. But anyway, this is where MJF also stepped out. Yeah, you're basically petting yourself, but that's not awkward at all. Like this is where it's like, so Swerve, like, hey, let's put things together. I really think about this. Like, why wouldn't, like, why wouldn't you frame Hangman with the beer bottle that the mystery devil attacked me with, and why didn't you then frame him, jump Hangman like soon after, like, and you and your assistants attacked him right to his own windshield, and you trying to get inside my head and have your goons like in a mogul embassy, here to jump people left and right. Like clearly a clear path that you finally being an AEW World Champion, be on top of yours truly. Which he said on interview he will make a better champion than Maxwell Jacob Freeman from a recent interview, which I talked about that in the wrestling news earlier, of course, like I said. But yeah, this is where MJF continues like, so Swerve, are you the devil? Like, part of me really hopes so right now. Like, is what you say, this is your house. Like, but check it. You're looking at the big bad wolf and the professional wrestling. And if I feel like it, I'll blow your house down. And I did while I'm at it. You break your arms, and so you can always swerve, you drive. I was like, he just took my catchphrase. He just cannot keep taking away my words. Like when I come up with jokes or when it comes to nicknames or anything, except for I'm better than you and you know it, and you're not on the level of the devil, because I have a better phrase than that, like saying I'm like it goes by like saying I'm over the level of the devil, like or something like that, like which I need to tell you guys while I'm making a totally different separate video. Here's where Swerve Strickland starts smiles like, hey, I can't believe you're throwing these accusations on me right now. Like you keeping that with like, and you keep if you ever wave that championship around my face, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna take you to hell. This is where the Mogul Embassy opened the door. This is where he's like, is there any this is where Prince Nana started chuckling, like it sounded like some kind of an African African vampire prince, if that makes sense. Like, and this is where Samoa Joe's like, hey, like you, do you have a problem with my property here? Like, well, if you excuse us, we have some business to discuss. And this is where Swerve was like, yeah, go and do that. Like, we'll see what's up with you guys, like next time around. And I was wondering, can't help but notice, like, yeah, they just attack Hangman Adam Page without any hesitation. Like, I mean, he could be MJF framing Swerve Strickland by to make it look like that it could be him, because for the fact that he was in a very beefy feud with the former AEW World Champion, and I think that they're probably going to, or it could be him, and it could be revealed that like at this week from the Saturday's event at World's End. But even if it was Swerve Strickland in the Mogul Embassy, they would have not. MJF wouldn't have already thrown the accusations on them by now. And also, I don't think it was the Mogul Embassy, because we would have saw two big buff men looking like what's the name, Tully Lyona and Bishop Khan, like their size. But we didn't see nobody like in a bigger size. And same with Brian Cage. They were just guys that were like skinny and more average height. So it could be somebody that's an average height kind of guy that could attack the likes of MJF and Hangman Page and The Acclaim. And this is where Prince Nana's like, I forgot to tell you about a collision last week. And it's where he went into the room. This is where they discussed their business about the matter what he brought up. This is where up next we got but yeah, let me know in the comments who could be possibly the mystery devil. Could it be Swerve Strickland? Could it be MJF himself? Could it be Adam Cole himself? Could it be Samoa Joe? Could it be Jack Perry? Could it be Pac? Like only time will tell, and that continues to remain to be seen. Like the biggest mystery in AEW. But this is where we got Roderick Strong taking on Commander with a K, which he put him right into the middle left, the middle ropes on the left corner ropes. This is where Roderick Strong's like you little masked peasant, like who the hell think you are? Who you think you are, little man? And this is where Mike Bennett was like, Next Strong for life, baby, to the fans. This is where Roderick Strong started hitting knife edge chops, which he haven't learned from Gunther last year when he changed his name to Gunther. And that means that's probably a start to add his envy as whoever mocks him with his knife edge chop, which Roderick Strong's is going to be continue to be added onto the list as well, along with the other AEW wrestlers that love hitting knife edge chop. This is where the fans started telling Roderick Strong that he sucks. This is where he took a page out of Dominic's book, and all he had to say was "shut up." Like, shut up! Like, you don't tell me like what I am. This is where Commander took advantage of the distraction from Roderick Strong, twist on his from the fans to Roderick Strong. This is where he twisted on, go on the top rope, springboard, go like for an arm drag, while off the top rope, while spinning him around a bit. This is where Roderick Strong tried to go for a clothesline, but this is where Commander instantly ducked out of the way. This is where he runs right towards the bottom corner ropes. This is where this is where Roderick Strong gets fine head scissors by the former what's that AAA junior tag team champion, I believe. And this is where he started beating his chest like he could beat down the former NXT North American champion. This is where Roderick Strong got the upper hand, though, when he tried to go for an attack on the upper right corner of Tina the Turnbuckle. But he gets kicked. He put him into the corner, onto the bottom or middle turnbuckle, like him sitting on either of the turnbuckles onto the upper right corner. Starts stomping a mud hole onto the poor guy. Like, this is where he grabs on the Commander. I believe he's one of the guys that does not stand about a misspelling from a wrestler, like even just a in-ring stage name. This is where he grabs him into a sidewalk slam kind of position, like move, hits him with a backbreaker in the process. This is where Roderick Strong, grabbing on Commander. This is where he started trying to pull onto the mask, like trying to do the most disrespectful act in all of professional wrestling / lucha libre. And that's pulling off the luchador mask, which you never do that at any professional wrestling company unless it's been stipulated that if the wrestler loses, you have to take off his mask. But luckily, he didn't got a chance to pull on this mask and take it off. This is where Roderick Strong put him right onto the left corner rope. This is where he did a forearm right to the back of Commander. This is where he grabs on the Commander. He hits him face first right onto the top left corner of Tina the Turnbuckle. This is where Commander started hitting right hands right to the midsection. This is where he hits a stinging chop to the former North American champion. But this is where Roderick Strong hits him with a thunderous forearm right to the face that made him did backflips for days. This is where Roderick Strong picks up the new member of Team El Ziedo Miedo. This is where Roderick Strong Irish whip him from the upper right corner. This is where Commander with a K Irish whips Roderick Strong right onto the upper right corner. This is where he tries to go for the double knees, but this is where Commander with a K hits a Hurricane Rana right on the Roderick Strong outside of the ring. This is where he started breathing back in and out like that. My back and my mid. I'll say this was definitely the fourth match of the night, like with Commander taking on Roderick Strong. And this is where he started hitting big stinging chops right with his hand, being next in line of being on Gunther's list. Like along with Penta El Ziedo Miedo as well. That's where Commander throws Roderick Strong back in the ring. This is where he tried to go for on the top rope onto the upper left corner. This is where the Kingdoms of Mike Bennett and Matt Taven drags Roderick Strong out of the ring. Just like, oh, forget this. Like, we don't need this. This is not for no championship or any kind of achievement. So why is the point of of him what's the point of him trying to finish him off in the first place? This is where they nearly walked out of the arena, but luckily Commander with a K walked onto the ropes, hit a bouncing rope moonsault maneuver right onto the Kingdom, like right in the outside. Is where Commander throws Roderick Strong back in the ring. This is where he was about to hit a springboard maneuver. This is where he got to go for it, but this is where Roderick Strong caught him at least 7 feet in the air, which I never saw him do in his decades of his career in pro wrestling. Like he never done that. Like I've seen him caught somebody with a knee strike, but it's more like when someone's running towards him and he intercepts with a knee strike that way. But it was rather like he catches them with a knee strike right into the air, like when he tried to do a springboard dive, which I believe that helped Roderick Strong got back in this match. This is where you get ready to get him with that knee, the knee right onto the back, right onto the ribs in the midsection, because he flipped right over like he was hitting a 450, but he had his knees up right down when he hit the suplex into like a Falcon Arrow. This is where he goes. This is where Roderick Strong beat Commander with the 1-2-3, and excuse me, and he's your winner of the match. Which he still have that neck brace on, like still thinking he still needs it, like because he has really bad neck issues. I was like, dude, even if he did have some really bad neck issues, like you still wear them on, even though you have a match like with tonight. Like if you knew that, this is where there's like neck strong, like it is like. There's like MJF is the devil. This is where they start clipping on fires about false accusations onto the current AEW World Champion. This is where Renee Paquette did a post-match in-ring interview with Roderick Strong. This is where she's like, "Congratulations, Rod. It's great to see you back here in the ring, Roddy. But I gotta ask you, what's going on with these MJF is the devil side? What you guys are trying to accomplish right now against Maxwell Jacob Freeman?" This is where, right? Well, Renee! I was like, what kind of disorder are you? What kind of disorder do you have for you yelling out like your coworkers' first names? Like it's already bad enough it all started with Adam Cole, with him shouting Adam, Adam. You're hanging out with Maxwell without me. I mean, you're hanging out with Maxwell and not me. What kind of best friend are you? Like trying to twist the turn, like trying to think he's the bad friend, but he's really the friend. And he's like, well, I'm gonna talk about talking to my best friend Samoa Joe. Samoa, Samoa. He said Samoa 3 times in a row, and this is where he's like, please, have a friend of me, and it's so obvious now, like that Max is the devil. And that's what fans are like, what? Like if Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the building. This is where Roger Starr's like, it's all that Hangman had been accused of the devil, but he's been the one that's been taken out. Like, come on, Joe. It's time for you to wake up and try to take the wool out of your eyes, like Joe. Like, see, the truth is. And this is where Renee Paquette's like Roddy, like, don't you think Joe even does heed your advice? He still he already does not know about that by now. Like this is where Roderick Strong was like, Renee, like his fans are mocking him by shouting Renee with him. This is where he's like, are you crazy? Like, how you can say something like that? Renee, like Samoa Joe, like is my best friend by Oxy. He's like, and neck strong forever. And this is where he put his hands up like this, like you always do. This is where Matt Taven and Mike Bennett had to sign to say, like, MJF is still the devil. Like, we know for sure, for a fact. I was thinking, like, all right, like, Roddy, like, Roddy and the Kingdom, like even if the Salt of the Earth, it really is the mystery devil under the mask, and he was lying the whole time. I prove it like by having some video proof, like have some hidden cameras with him, like dressing up as the devil, and him waiting for his next victim to attack him. I was like, Roddy, like you're no better than the guy who beat you in that unification match for the NXT North American and Cruiserweight Championship almost 2 years ago at from two New Year's Evils ago. Like from accusing, he accused Ilya Dragunov, and how we know you're not the mystery devil in the mask, and Matt Taven and Mike Bennett are uh the two minion goons, I should say, into this attacks with the likes of the Acclaim, Hangman Adam Page, and even MJF himself. But this is where we got some replays and recaps with Thunder Rosa making her long year and a half awaited return to help out Abaddon take out Sky Blue and the current TBS champion herself, Julia Hart. This is where we see the tag team match this Saturday on the Holiday Bash edition of the SNA podcast of the Collision Review Part 19. This is where we also have Brian Cage taking on Keith Lee because he's still not done with Swerve Strickland, obviously, because they really didn't have a build up to a match. And we're gonna hear. Then we got Eddie Kingston taking on was it Andrade? Yeah, Andrade El Idolo. Like whoever wins gonna face, I believe, Bryan Danielson in the semifinals, or even Brody King. Which I'd say it could be either one, but whoever wins, I hope for the best for either man. But this is where we. This is where they showed AEW wrestlers like Nyla Rose and All Eagle Ethan Page and Christopher Daniels and Evil Uno, like watching the new Aquaman in 3D, which is the movie premiere of the Aquaman movie, which they give their opinions on. And even Luther was there too. And Ryan Nemeth, like the brother of Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth. And I was like, wait, like, and All Eagle Ethan Page and Nyla Rose being there, like they were in the funeral edition video of Simon Miller's funeral ceremony of Barry Barricade, and they had their opinions about Barry. And so I want to give a shout out to them too, and even Matt Menard, even though he wasn't there at the movie premiere of the Aquaman movie, and also to my boy Simon Miller of World Culture Wrestling. Make sure y'all check out his channel at World Culture Wrestling. On the channel, like search him up and give him a subscribe and also watch his videos because he has some very interesting videos to talk about, like top 10 videos, here's why videos, and even ups and downs, and their daily wrestling news videos every morning. But let's move on and go to the next match, which was the main event of the evening, and that was Switchblade Jay White taking on John Moxley. And again, yeah, who thinks the mystery devil? Before I get started talking about this, about the Continental Classic, about the final match in the fifth round into the tournament before the semifinals. And I'll say I love how they're doing this. Like if it's like some kind of a sports competition, like on how many wins you're going to get into your record until you're up on top and you're going to make it up to the playoffs, like they do on MLB, NBA, and the NFL. Like who's going to get the top seed? Who's going to get the second seed? Who's going to get the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, perhaps? Like into the playoffs, and who's going to have the advantage on who's going to play at home, who's going to play away, like whoever it may be. It depends on that as well. But anyway, yeah, we do have the main event. But yeah, and let me know what you think. Who thinks the devil and under the mask? Let me know also in the comments down below. That's where we're going to start off with the Switchblade taking on the former lunatic French, the crazy man of the Blackpool Combat Club, and they were definitely given. they were really and these AEW wrestlers were continuously were putting Gunther in a bad mood more than his boys Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser has ever done in their respective in their and as their as his minions. Like, but he's gonna continue to take the vacation of celebrating him being the Intercontinental Champion, which he's gonna probably celebrate of being continue his long reign with his wife Jenny, I suppose. But anyway, but he's not probably happy of seeing John Moxley and Jay White continuing the chops like what Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe and Swerve Strickland and Bruce was just doing, and even Commander and Roderick Strong as well. They just love doing that chops for some reason, way more than Gunther has ever done. But this is where, after they started hitting chops, this is where Jay White and John Moxley were hitting forearms right back each other, like respectively with punches, until John Moxley had Jay White in the outside, like dragging him around the ringside area from top to bottom, left to right, upper right, lower right, upper left, lower left. And this is where he hit the face first right onto the timekeeper's table. This is where he grabbed him right onto the ramp. This is where he put him in a headlock kind of position, walking him on the outside. This is where Jay White started hitting right hands right onto the stomach, right in the midsection of John Moxley. This is where Jay White tried to go for a sit-out pile driver right through the right onto the ramp, but this is where John Moxley flips him over, right hitting back first, right onto the right onto the hard ramp. This is where John Moxley was like okay, like I'm gonna wait until he gets up so I can hit this attacking move. He waved at everybody. This is where he thought wait for him to roll back down. Like this is where he's like, what the heck? I'll just throw him back in the ring. This is where he put him right to the lower right corner. This is where he started hitting 10 punches in a row, like to fist to the face, right onto where the fans started chanting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is where he started grabbing onto Jay White's head, started biting it like if he was Mike Tyson, like a wrestler version of Mike Tyson, like what somewhat Eddie Kingston would do. Like this is where he started biting him right to the face, make it more extreme and hardcore. This is where John Moxley grabs onto the face of the referee when the referee's like, all right, get off. He's like, why you have to be so aggressive about your count, ref? And this is where John Moxley went on the top. I get the count. This is where he tried to go for a big haluva boot right onto Jay White. This is where Jay White hits a shin-breaking chop block right onto the former AEW World Champion. This is where John Moxley's like, my knee, that hurts really bad. This hurts worse than sugar honey iced tea. This is where Jay White started brutalizing and annihilating John Moxley right into the ringside area, onto the barricades. Like ran him right to barricade until he got him back in the ring. This is where Jay White threw him right back into the barricade, right into the upper right corner side. This is where he started beating him around, like hitting him with every item in the ringside area until he got back in the ring. I'll say not hitting him directly like a steel, like hit him like a chair or Kindle stick or sledgehammer or bat, like more like a hit like around the items like barricade, rear to the ring post, Simba the steel steps, out on the announce table, or I don't say out on the announce table, more like only those three sides, like in the hard spot ring, the ring apron. This is where Jay White hits a knife chop right into the back of John Moxley, which I'm not sure if he's making Gunther even more happy, because I believe Gunther somewhere getting pissed off, probably in his house, like with his wife calming him down, saying calm down, like they're just doing that just to make you angry and provoke you, and try to do something that you might regret in the future. He's like, perhaps you're right, honey. So I'm gonna lead them off in a warning, and plus it's Christmas. Like when it's not Christmas and when it's the future, when I get face these guys, they're gonna feel the wrath of my knife edge chops when I cut them and I cut their skin in half, like when I hit them with the devastating chops they have ever felt in their entire career as a pro wrestler. That's where Jay White then started picking options of hitting forearms right to the face and jaw of John Mox. John Mox like, that's all you got? You throw forearms like a girl. Like, hit me harder. And that's where he started hitting like 2 more times in a row. This is where John Mox started hitting 3 times back at Jay White. Hitting him even in the face first, right to the lower right corner of the ring mat. This is where John Moxley placed him right into that corner's turnbuckles in the lower left and started stomping a mud hole right onto the midsection of Jay White, right onto that corner. This is where the referee was like, hey, like, not too much, John. Like, get off of him. Like, don't keep like stepping onto his shoulders. Like, 1, 2, 3, doing the 5-second warning DQ count. This is where John Moxley got right off of him. This is where the referee's like, come on, step back. This is where John Moxley grabs onto the hair of Jay White. This is where he puts him right on the top rope. Looked like he's about to hit an avalanche top rope suplex, but not until like before he started raking the back of Jay White, and then biting the nose of Jay White as well in the process. Like, I'm surprised he haven't had a bloody nose after getting bitten like that, even though it might have not been too much that's locked in that's making it bloody. Because like after he did it, like, do a little bite. This is where he hits an avalanche suplex. This is where he clotheslined him out of the ring. This is where he hits a suicide dive onto him. This is where Jay White did a distraction on the referee by thinking by making the referee look like he's about to hit him with the chair. This is where he pulled the chair. This is where the referee was like, hey, you can't use this in the match. This is not no DQ. He's like, all right, fine. Like, dang it. This is where he grabs on another chair under the ring and rammed it right onto the back of the bad knee in the John Mox, which is John Mox's left knee that's messed up right now. He hit him right in the left knee, like with the steel chair, like what a heel would do to his opponent. This is where he throws him back in the ring. This is where and he threw him right back in the ring, like looked like nothing didn't happen. And this is where, this is where Jay White throws. This is where Jay White got back in the ring. This is where the referee was doing his count, but John Moxley amazingly got back in before the referee can even count the 10 at 9.999999999, double triple nines, a dozen nines, like more to come, like, which is a negative 0.1 away from being the count of 10 in the count out. Luckily, they didn't end up in the count out, like, because what sense would that make? Like, someone like a John Moxley losing by a count out, like that's not how he wants to lose. Like, that's not how you want to lose with an undefeated status into the tournament. But this is where he finally got back in the ring. This is where John Moxley goes for a pin, like onto. Because Jay White was trying to go for the switch, the Blade Runner, but he gets hit with the paradigm shift, but he kicks out at 2.9999999, double triple nine, 0.1 negative away from being 3. This is where John Moxley then try to go pick him up and try to go for This is where he tried to go for a knife edge chop right onto him, like, which I think Gunther would give him a pass, right, because it wasn't that loud. This is where he did the chop back. This was like some free passing until, like, this is where Jay White tried to go for another one. This is where John Moxley tried to go for a sleeper, but he pushed him right back into the lower left or lower right corner of Tina the turnbuckle. This is where he tried to run and try to go charging at John Moxley. He put his foot up right to stop him, but this is where he grabs on his leg and he bends it back like the Miz would do to his opponents back in the day, back in 2013 era, and from even in the past couple of years as well, like him doing that move. He hits the dragon screw again. This is where Jay White tried to go for the single leg Boston Crab, but this is where Moxley counters out of it into a small package, but only got a 2.1 count. This is where Jay White tried to go for a charge right onto John Moxley, right onto the lower left corner, but he dodged him right out of the way, did him with a sunset Starts that foot like into a running knee strike until he kicks out at 2.999, double triple 0.1 away from being 3. This is where he starts. This is where he hits him with a mox cutter, but this is where Jay White countered out. This is where he tried to go for a blade runner, but he counters out of that. This is where John Moxley rolls out of it, hits a clothesline from Hill, which I believe it was he was double cursed because 2 attempts to do a blade runner, he couldn't do it. But this is where John Moxley tried to go for a Death Rider, but this is where Jay White flips out of it. This is where he tried to go for a blade runner for 3rd time with the charm, but he didn't found no lucky charm, so he was triple cursed. This is where John Moxley this is where I believe John Moxley hits another paradigm shift, which I believe he's double lucky. And this is where he tried to go for a pin, but he kicks out at 2.999, double triple nines. This is where I believe he tried to go for another Death Rider, but I think he was double cursed because Jay White flips out of it. This is where he hits him right in his leg, like to slow down the former AEW World Champion. He finally does hits it out of the park, like with 3 men in base, and he hits the blade runner, which he finally found the luck of Grand Slam because this was the 4th time was the charm rather than the 3rd time. And he go for the pin. He got the 1, 2, 3. He tied, and yes, sir, he got the 1, 2, 3. And he tied with both John Moxley and Swerve Strickland. Speaking of the devil, he came out and no, this is not a pun intended or a reference that he is the mystery devil, but he did appear that he making his presence known that he's gonna beat both Mox and Jay White, like with them both tying at 12, like him scoring 3 points, and this is the first time John Moxley got 0 points, like into the onto his scoreboard, onto the Continental Classic tournament. We're going to see these 3 facing it out, like who's going to face either a Bryan Danielson or Brody King or Andrade El Idolo, Claudio Castagnoli, or Eddie Kingston, like at the finals of the Continental Classic tournament at World's End in December 30th. Let me know down in the comments below, which I believe, like I said, it's going to be Swerve Strickland in the triple threat match because John Moxley already got a win from him. So, usually whoever got a win at first usually lose the second time. So, that statistic always always be the case, 9 times out of 10. And also, Jay White just got a win from John Moxley. So, I believe Swerve Strickland, whether if he pins John Moxley or what's his name, Jay White, he's going to get this win. It looks like it could be John Moxley, considering at first he was undefeated and he won 4 straight of his Continental Classic tournament matches. I think that John Moxley is going to Swerve Strickland's going to win, and perhaps he could be the one that could win the Continental Classic tournament, by facing someone like a Bryan Danielson or Eddie Kingston, the 2 of the guys that's on the top list of Gunther's list of MV. But this match was definitely the match of the night. Something that was memorable, watchable, something that will never take you off your seat of watching this. This was absolutely incredibly amazing. Like 2 guys fighting it out, trying to earn themselves rights as trying to be on the top, trying to make their way into the semifinals, then the win, and trying to be one more win away, and trying to win that match to try to be at World's End at the finals of the Continental Classic, be Triple Crown AEW 3 Promotional Championship, along with Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling, with the open weight and the World Heavyweight Championship of Ring of Honor and the Continental Championship of AEW. But who thinks is going to be the first ever Triple Crown Continental Champion? Let me know in the comments down below. But that was the AEW Dynamite tonight. Now I'm going to give it a full 4-star review out of 5. I'll say, it may have had a couple of flaws, but it's not really much to talk about. I'm not really a negative Nancy, but I am going to talk about is being a positive Pete, and I'm going to talk about the Continental Classic matches with the likes of John Moxley taking on Jay White was number 1, definitely for sure. And also Swerve Strickland taking on Roosh was number 2. And number 3 definitely goes to Jay Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe, even though they weren't really fighting for anything, just fighting for dignity, but they both were automatically eliminated along with Roosh. So yeah, that leaves all three of them out because Swerve Strickland beat Roosh into his match to get him eliminated. So yeah, but they still put on a great performance. Like it shows that they will be like that shows that both Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe will be champion in AEW one day, just not today. But they just keep wrestling until they're in their Mark Briscoe's in his rookie season, and then Jay Lethal's kind of in his rookie season. Like they just got to find that day to give them that opportunity, respectively, in their rights as AEW wrestlers. But and also we got some goofy wrestling from MJF by him making jokes about like Swerve Strickland about he's gonna make his arms that he will be swerving while he's driving, and then also when Samoa him saying like his property, he's more concerned about his property more than his diet. Like hopefully that's not fat shaming. Let's hope it's just a joke about like him him cutting on his diet, like whatever like that he's not doing on his diet, it's whatever he's dieting on is not working. Like let's hope he's making a little joke like that even Samoa Joe will laugh like when he's not on screen, of course. But yeah, well, what's your thoughts about AEW Dynamite tonight? Did it got your interest? And did it made you be more in the holiday spirit as well, like in the wrestling side of things? Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that was your latest episode of AEW Dynamite. This is the latest edition of SNA, the SNA podcast, episode 187. I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was 187 of the SNA podcast, AEW Dynamite the AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash edition of the show, part 19 of the AEW Dynamite review. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a huge thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, click the bell notification so it can be the first one to be uploaded of my latest new video. And make sure y'all check out, if y'all want to, not the force, just if you want to decide, if you want to see what I have next on the wrestling news, make sure you check it out. It will be episode 188 of the wrestling news part 72, where I'm be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories, rumors that you SNA fans need to know from Wrestling Inc. And we're going to be talking about what's the news for December 21st, the first day of winter, the first day of winter edition, I should say, of the wrestling news. Make sure y'all check that out, and also also share with your friends and family as well. And I hope we all have a great Wednesday night, the rest of the Wednesday night, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the wrestling news video. But until we meet again, Super Ninja Austin, the Assassin, out. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And I'm sorry I haven't said that for the past couple of days, but I want to wish y'all a very Merry Christmas. If I forget in the next videos, of course. And I'll say good night and bye-bye and mwah. And y'all stay safe and have a very blessed Merry Christmas. I'll say, what was that? Kissing to everybody, I guess it's like Kenny Omega kind of style, and I want to wish him a full, fast, and speedy recovery, and bow. And hopefully he can come back so the Golden Jets can become new AEW Tag Team Champions. I think they can do so much with the AEW Tag Team titles. It has so much potential down the line. But let me know what y'all feel about this in the comments down below. But yeah, as well. But yeah, y'all have a very safe and blessed Merry Christmas and a happy holidays, a happy New Year, and many more to come in 2024. And what's your New Year's resolutions for 2024? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, see you all on the wrestling news tomorrow afternoon, and I'll say good night to you, my SNA fans, and yeah, wish y'all a Merry Christmas. And this is a goodbye, I guess.